speaker who has gone to the mat for me on a couple of occasions in the coaching realm, and I thank her for that. All the while, she has been a writer, and she is the author of a new book that I believe contains something for everyone. It's called What Makes You Stronger Just Might Kill You. L.J. Sal. Thank you so much for being here, L.J.
It's my pleasure.
What prompted you to become a leadership coach and a motivational speaker, and how did you bring that goal to fruition?
Well, I did some work a few years ago, some training work, and a company that I was with just had done my training with was just like, we really want you to be a trainer and, you know, come and train. And so I started it. I love coaching. You know, my sister...
She's great at it, too.
My sister tells me that I'm always coaching and being able to trust myself with what I'm seeing. You know, and I speak my truth. Whatever I see in front of me, I speak. And it usually is right on the spot. I think sometimes, I think there's a coach in all of us, but we hold back for whatever reason. We don't say things. We don't know if we're going to hurt someone or maybe they'll take it the wrong way. I think I've mastered ways of saying things to people where it doesn't hurt, but it is truthful.
With such demanding work as that, and many of the other things you're involved in, and raising 3 sons, and how do you foster and keep a writing career going and making
the time? And so I just made a commitment to myself that, you know, my time would be spent doing the things that I like. So sometimes at 11 o'clock at night, I'll just light a candle, sit on my computer, and type for a few hours. You know, I make sure that I make the time to write, because that's what I love to do, you know, and it doesn't matter what time of the night it is, you know, after I've done taking care of everyone else, I just sit and I just write.
Did you do any self-coaching to bring this amazing book, What Makes You Stronger Just Might Kill You, to fruition?
No, I think I had a bunch of people around me saying, it's your turn.
Okay.
You know, I had a bunch of coaches around me, you know, people who I've coached and friends who just kept saying, you know, you got to do this for you.
This book has it all. It's got family, it's got relationship, it's got suspense, it's got hot love, it's got intrigue, it's got surprises, it's got betrayal, it's got mystery. I could go on. Woven in beautifully through 5 amazing women who are the main characters. How did you come up with that? I mean, the whole thing. I mean, you know, and weaving it. And what was the process like? And did you have it all planned out, or did the characters lead you? Like, did a character lead you and then another one, or how did it work for you?
Okay. Well, again, the book started out as like this little communication between my sister and I. There was, you know, a true death of a friend of ours when we were younger. And I think it affected her a lot. And I remember she was in the hospital when I actually started first writing. And I kind of felt that that death triggered who she was to become. So I would write and I'd send it to her. And she'd go, wow, this sounds like me.
Oh, she saw herself.
Yeah, she saw herself. And it was actually, you know, my way of letting her know I can, as a coach, I see things and I go, you know, I want you to know I see this and I know how this affected you. And you're so not alone. That's how it first started. And then all the other characters were kind of like a group of my sisters and my friends, a lot of their personalities.
So, I mean, you know, it's like people you meet and you know, or the dialogue is so natural. We're going to take a moment for another offering, and when we return, LJ will share a bit of this page turner, and you won't want to miss it. We'll see you in just a moment with LJ Sal. LJ, this book doesn't, if it doesn't get you one way, it definitely gets you another way when you read it. All your senses seem to be aroused. Your curiosity, you know, you're on the edge, either you're on the edge about one thing, or you're feeling something else, or you're going, oh, you know, I can't believe that girl did that, or I can't, you know, there's just something going on everywhere. Was that your intention, and what did you hope the readers to walk away with when they finish this book?
Okay. I love to read, again, like I said, and so one of the things about books and movies that get to me is if I can predict what's going to happen next, I kind of think that the writer missed the mark. So I wanted the book to be something that had people talking and guessing, yet you couldn't predict the end. You know, like you didn't, you might have thought you got it, but you didn't.
Yeah, a couple times where you go, oh, well, something's going to happen here, and you go, no.
Yeah. So,
This book also, it's really interwoven like a tapestry or connected like fabric in a quilt, I think. In the characters' stories, they're independent, yet they're linked to each other. How their past drove their present and the foreshadowing of their future. How long did it take to get it in that form? I mean, I know you have here, you know, to pull these 5 women, Sharon, Donna, Nettie, Aisha, Ronnie, their journeys out of you. Like, there's so many other, those characters are great. But the incidental characters, you know, like, I don't really know Woody very well, but I love that man. And, he, you know, he's gone in the first few pages. And then even, like, all the men are really interesting. And their brother Paul and the mother, and then forget it.
I think that a lot of that comes from the type of work that I've done as coaching. And I know that the events that occur in our life produce who we are to become. So the book is basically linking those things from our past, those events from our past, and the beliefs that we take from our past.
And the story we make up about
And
our
the story
past,
we make
which
up.
is not really what you really
Exactly.
necessarily happened, which is what you said, too.
Exactly. So I take that and I use that, which is real life every day, which is, I think, why people relate to it so well. And I weave it into the story itself. So there are lessons as well for anyone who's reading the book. There are lessons you can pick up about the things that we make up.
Right, and there's coaching in there in a way, you know, they're all, you know, you get it down on paper, or you get it in the computer, then what's the effort to, like, get it published? And now you have your own publishing company, so what was that like, and what surprises were there, and how did you make that all happen?
Mainly I did it because I didn't want to be tied down to any kind of way of writing. And if you read the book, you notice that it's probably a little different from most books that you've read, the writing style itself. And I didn't want to be put into a box. So I decided to do it for myself. Now, of course, along the journey, there are lessons to be learned. You know, I mean, like we said the wrong, you know, some of the wrong stuff to the editors. And, you know, it just was a learning experience. It was a journey in itself. And I remember when I first was writing the manuscript, and so she said to me, Sisters Uptown Bookstore, she said to me, this is a great story, and you might want to publish it yourself, because my experience, you know, they might try to have me do it a different way.
Water it down or something.
And she goes, the way that it is just great. And so that kind of stuck with me along the way. And there were times when I wanted to just give it to someone else and let them take over it. And I had to coach myself and, you know, and tell myself, you know what, just go for it and trust yourself. But editing, just trying to coach myself through having it be perfect and still going to have to render perfect, you know.
But it's perfectly perfect as it is, you know, in the way it is. It's great. Now, I know your sister is a character in this. Is there one that would be you? Any of them? I mean, if you don't want to say who it is, but is there one? Or are you a little bit of
I think
several
I'm a
of
little
them?
bit of all of them.
I
think I'm a little bit of all of them, you know.
Are there ones that you would be more closer, tighter with if they were in your circle? I mean, you know what I mean? Are there ones that you're more fond of? I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I love them all. I love them all. There was you know, I finished the book, and when it was done, I think I was stalling because I had learned to love these women so much. It was like losing a friend. And I think I actually cried when I was finished because I felt like I had lost 5 friends because it was done. So
You didn't have that relationship going with them anymore.
Yeah. You know, the one I love the most, though, I love Nettie. I had the most fun writing her. She's, you know, she's just, she's colorful, you know. I love her. I love her, you know.
She stirs up a lot of stuff,
She
doesn't
does.
she, in a lot of people.
She does.
It's great. You know, I really love this book, and it's funny, and it's got everything, but it's tragic. I mean, the story, because they all, as we say in leadership work and stuff, the characters become, but they all, because of the tragedy, they all become senior to their circumstance. I mean, there's this stuff in training like be senior to what's going on in your life, and they all seem to do that. and they move and they turn dark into light and poison into medicine, which is a term used in Buddhism sometimes. Do you think, and you talked about how, your coaching helped you, do you think your coaching background helped shape the lessons and the motivational aspect of this book?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, there are points where one would say, I would have given up, or I would hate that person, or, I would never do that, or how could she be okay with that? And I had to, I wanted to make it be okay. And I wanted to make the tragedy be okay. I wanted to make, the devilment be okay. And I wanted to make what's great be okay. It's not the way, I don't think that most people would have.
And then they surprise you. You think ones will react a certain way to something, and then all of a sudden they come through where you don't think they're going to come through, which is...
I wanted to make them strong. I wanted the women to be strong. I didn't want them to appear weak and, dependent. They're all very strong women, and they rise. They rise, and I just think that that's my aspect on people in general. People will rise.
Question about the divas. Right. Well, they can find out who the divas are and why they're divas if they read
Oh,
the
no,
book.
you could talk about that.
Okay.
That's they become the diva, you mean in the pack that they make.
Right, and they create that name out of the initials of their, which is very interesting. And I think, I know I shouldn't do it on TV, but I've heard it before, but in the book you refer to the B word and what that really means instead of what people use.
Oh, so yeah, they call, she's known as the bitch, which is, in her terms, it's black and total control of herself.
So fabulous.
Yeah, and then a lot of times we say it's beauty in total control of herself. Because, women sometimes when we appear to be aggressive.
People want to put that label on.
People want to say
now,
we're
what
a
did
bitch,
you, LJ, learn about yourself doing this? Because this is now completed, and I don't like to talk about
I think
the
the biggest lesson that I've learned for myself is the love I have of my friendships. The love of friendship. And, my sister, who I dedicated the book to, who I originally wrote the book for, she passed away.
Yeah, just not too long ago.
And, the deep love that I had for her and for my friendships and the cherishing, and to know that there is nothing to me more honorable than having friends who love me and family who love me. And I think that has been enriched.
You have another book that's coming down the pike in a little while called Breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
Takes these women somewhere else in their lives?
It's just another journey on their lives, and I can't, you'd have to pick it up. The beginning is just automatically the surprise.
The beginning is the surprise?
The beginning is the surprise, and of course, my books are books that keep you guessing.
Right.
So it's never what it really appears to be.
Right.
See where the journey of these women take, after the ending, which, there's still stuff you go, I wonder what happened there.
But you also, too, what's great about the ending is it's very hopeful because, again, constantly they're changing this poison into medicine and making enjoy it on many sensory levels, I must say. You'll be enticed, you'll be enhanced, you'll be encouraged. So we have about, I don't know, a minute and a half going after goals and dreams, and you certainly deal with people with that all the time. What are some of the things that you might tell people when they're up against their stuff or their obstacle to do?
Well, when you come up against stuff, that's when you want to keep going. Whenever you're coming up against stuff, there is your life lesson. And if you stop at that point, you lose your lesson. So you have a dream, you have a vision or a dream or a goal that you want to go after. Pray that there's stuff that comes in the way. Because when
that's where the juice is, actually, is what they say.
That's the juice. And you do whatever you have to do to keep that goal. Therein are all of the lessons. There were so many lessons in that for me, so many lessons. And I think that whenever you have a dream or a vision, you gotta go. And if you're getting stuck, find someone, who's going to encourage you. Find the biggest bitch and partner up with that person, because they're going to get you through.